Welcome to the Cantina number 15!
15!
Exciting! Yes, by the way, if I sound like I'm dying, it's because I got up extra early to record this. And by extra early, I don't mean like normal people, like 11 o'clock. I'm talking in the wee hours. Yeah.
And I stayed up all night to do the script.
Yeah, so anyway, well, if the script better be good, what is it today?
Well, we have a couple of things to tell you guys today. Probably some of the more important things is that we recently have been told by some of our listeners that SWTOR has been receiving a lot of flack for the quality of the game. So we took one of the more dominant articles, and this article in specific from GameSpy was talked about a lot on the official forum. So we thought we'd take it, look at it, and editorialize on it, and see if there's some truth in it from our perspective anyway. But before we get to that, real quick, we have a couple of questions we just want to go ahead and answer. Since you guys are our listeners and we do it for you guys, we thought we might as well give you a little bit of fan service. And not fan service in the sense of manga. Those of you that read manga will know what I'm on about. So, Mook, you want to go ahead and ask the first question?
What the fuck are you on about?
No, manga, when they do fan service, they take a female character from a cartoon and show naked pictures to be happy.
Okay, yeah, we won't go over that.
Right.
The first question is from That's not the mic breaking, by the way. Right, also badass schematics for crafting professions drop in SWTOR operations, just like the recipes in WoW.
To be perfectly honest with you, I'm not quite sure, but using reason and instinct, absolutely. There's almost no doubt that that's going to happen.
I hope they don't, because that's not very fair for the old crafters. To be honest,
no, I don't think so either.
I like the crafting aspect. In this game, it could be very good with your little teammates helping, like your companions helping you out. They can make it a really interesting system, and they'll only go and fucking shoot themselves in the foot if they go and do this as a feature, in my opinion.
I agree. I very much agree. But as it is right now, I don't know. I think it's quite likely. But even the epic schematics, the way it works right now is every schematic that you get in the game is by default green, but you can get a blue version of it and an epic version of it.
So I don't know, green's good enough.
Yeah, green's not good enough. So you can make it blue, you can make it epic, and every time you step it up one quality grade of each item, you can do this with a level 7 item, which is some of the first you can craft. You can do it with a level 50 item, and the stats get better the higher you tick them up. More details on that on another video.
The only epics Chemist ever had welfare epics. He got gifted them.
Yeah, I totally got gifted epics.
Right, what's the next question?
Well, you are the one with the questions, retard.
Oh, have I got all of them? Oh wow, I feel well special.
Yes.
Right, the next question is from OrbitLime32. And he asks about He asked about PvP brackets. He says, "Hey guys, I've heard a lot of things about PvP that is available to us, some of which sounds slightly off-putting. I've seen people claiming that PvP brackets is a one level range of 10 to 50, of all health being modified within the battleground to make it fair. Personally, this sounds frankly tits up, which is possibly the best saying in this question ever.
Tits up.
As it does not give experienced PvP players much of a chance to steam ahead. So, my question is, how will the PvP brackets work?"
Well, right now, the reason why it's true what they say that the bracket is 10 to 50, but the only reason it is because of the beta, because the closed beta in itself doesn't have enough players to sustain multiple brackets, so they just threw it in one big pot. You can expect when the game goes live to have separate brackets. I don't know if they're going to go ahead and do it every 10 levels, but there will be brackets. I very much, at the very least, I could expect them to do 1 to 49 and then 50s for themselves.
We're going
to have to see.
Yeah, but even 1 to 49 is ludicrous. Just imagine if you come up with someone, you both got 4,000 health, and one guy just has wipe or stab or lightsaber poke, and the other guy turns around and goes, "Oh yeah, guess what?
Yeah, but it's going to be like that anyway.
Thread, anal penetration, rip guts out, anal force." I don't understand. Why don't they just force squeeze someone's heart?
You can't. You can't.
Because there's Jedi, there's Sith that do it.
Yeah, but it's not that simple. We'll get to that. It's got to do with the way that using force powers on and life form works. Jedi would be able to sense it and be able to defend against it. It's a matter of willpower, but we'll get to that. The biggest thing is it's still going to be unfair. it's still going to be unfair because 2 months down the road of the game, people are going to be level 50, fully fucking geared, and a new level 50 is going to get in there and get steamrolled. It's the exact same concept. The concept of fair PvP. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want PvP to be fair, I suggest you to play Pokemon or any other game because PvP was never designed to be fair.
Pokemon isn't fair.
All it is.
As soon as you get Snorlax, you just dominate.
Yeah, totally.
You do. He can learn everything by like one move.
Shush. That is just dumb. Dumb. Anyway, the concept of PvP being fair is just non-existent. PvP is not meant to be fair. It won't be fair. And if you expect it to be, then you will be disappointed in TOR.
Basically, you're all a bunch of crying bitches. You should shut up.
Pretty much. Combat in general, whether it be real life, whether it be wars, whether it be game, it's never about fair. No, the thing about meeting on a battlefield with each side having 100 horses and smashing into each other and let the better man win, that shit wasn't even done in the chivalry. That's just romanticized stories made by some stupid writer.
Yeah, look at 300, prime example.
Yeah.
Bunch of awesome warriors, beat 10,000, get killed by a retard.
Yep.
And that's how Chemist works in PvP. He waits for loads of good soldiers to die, then he's the retard and goes in and wins. He's just going to plant his flag at the end.
Poke.
Yeah.
Anyway, we need to move on. We're sticking on this question. Next question.
I'm gonna sneeze. Right, the next question, if I sneeze midway, is not my fault.
You actually sneezed on recording. That's
I can't
awesome.
help it. I'm just woken up, man. Give me a break.
Alright.
The question is from Mr. Tato. Mr. Tato!
Mr. Tato!
And the question is it true that 8-man ops will get the same quality loot as 16-man, and if they're on the same difficulty, while the 16-man gets twice as much? Well, in theory, you'd imagine the 16-man would get twice as much because there's twice as many people.
Yeah, but we can answer that question with yes and no. Yes. Straight up, yes. There's nothing more to it. You hit it spot on. So yeah, that concludes the questions, guys. We now have a very, very extensive section of the recording. So this part is something that's going to take a little while. That's why it's going to be a two-part episode this time. It's going to be very long, and we ask you to be patient because it's a very interesting and very important subject about TOR.
Well, I think it's not very nice, and it makes me sad.
Indeed.
But still, did you want it? Well, you were introduced to this or shown this by what user? Just give him a little shout out.
Oh, shout out! Let's find him here, shall we? The games article was written to me by Purple Honey Bear. Thank you, Purple Honey Bear.
What a lovely name!
Indeed, so lovely. Purple Honey Bear wrote this to me after a small discussion on one of the comments, and basically the overhead is GameSpy read an article about some of the biggest problems that SWTOR might run into. Now we've broken down into separate segments as the article did, and before we decided to go ahead with this article, I did a little background research on the journalist. He's a freelance journalist, freelance gaming journalist called Leif Johansson. He generally tends to write very positive mentions about most games, but decided to actually do some journalism. And we're going to go ahead and look at his conclusions and see and try and dissect how they were made. So we're just going to jump straight into it. One of the first things he talked about is character creation being very weak in Star. Well, he didn't say very weak, he said it was weak. And on the notion of character creation, I'm going to have to agree with him. Character creation is rather weak. I think it is a cop-out. I think it's an easy way to go to not having to deal with difficult character customization, difficult model making.
I think it's retarded that you've got an entire universe of so many awesome species, yet they've done all the ones that were relatively human. That's like in Star Wars, how often do you associate... What?
That one can be explained very simply.
Yeah, because they have to make different models, I understand.
Right.
But they've got the models in there, and they have to make different hitboxes, QQ, whatever. But you've got different you've got things like... What was I thinking of? You completely derailed me then.
Stop clicking whatever you're clicking.
Sorry. You derailed me. Anyway, there was a species I was trying to think of. Just imagine playing a hut Jedi. Oh my god.
That wouldn't happen, that's impossible. But that's another discussion.
That's not the point.
I know, but generally I think they copped out on races as well. I'd like a lot more exotic races.
I was going to say, why the fuck did they put Cyborg in? How many Cyborgs have you seen in Star Wars?
Quite a few. In fact, almost every Sith is a Cyborg.
Almost every Sith, but they're not in like most people associate these with this game with the film. A lot of people who are going to play this, casuals, are going to associate it with the film. How often in the films do you see cyborgs? Except Darth Vader, he's a single exception.
No, he isn't. Fucking Anakin is a cyborg.
He is Darth Vader.
Yeah, no. It's two separate entities. It's two separate things because they're technically
One bloke.
two separate
He
characters.
still has the same panache.
Oh, hang on. Let me finish. First of all, General Grievous is a full-on cyborg. There's Anakin. There's Luke Skywalker. There is Lando Calrissian has a mechanical arm as well. He also has cybernetic implants for enhanced vision. I wouldn't class them as a
separate race. I'd class them as a fuck up. As a little bit of a
but that's the difference. Now when you come down to the definitions of what defines a separate race. Now I would agree with you that we can't go ahead and call them a separate race, but it's definitely a separate group of people. Just as, for instance, in X-Men, that they were humans just with special powers, thereby called mutants, and humans were called humans. It's the same thing. As soon as lasers. As soon as there's something marginally different about any given being, they get classed separately. Same thing we do in real life. Asians, blacks, white, Caucasians, etc., etc. We all Dirks, Pakis.
I say nerds.
Nerds. Well, I'm a nerd.
You are a nerd.
And we all spread them out into separate groups, and the same thing in Star Wars. But I will agree with you, it was piss poor. I think he was very, very fair, Leif Johansson in this case, in terms of the character customization. I agree that it's not extensive enough, and I think they need to do a better job of that. Will it happen? To hell it will. It will not be changed at any given point in the near future.
No, it won't. But the next point he made was some voice acting, which I'm doing today. I'm very monotone at the moment. I'm quite liking it. So
yeah, I like
I'm quite monotone at the moment.
Get out!
From what I've seen on this, I can't agree with him. From what I've seen, you've obviously experienced the story up to level what 25, 20. What's the base up to?
They're on about 11 characters.
How did you feel about the voice acting? Was it? How do you describe it? Did it?
It depends on who you are, because you see, in this such a situation, you're talking about an opinion on whether you like something. That you can't editorialize on something like that. Editorializing means giving your opinion